getting into this crazy story about the New York shooter. And we're going to start off with the information that was presented first that was incorrect. So there was a shooter in New York that did commit a mass shooting, but it's not this guy. This guy right here that you see was not the shooter. And we have to debunk the information that was presented immediately first before we get to the rest of the story, because I want to make this very clear. This picture that you see here, this gentleman here, he is a pro-Palestinian activist. He was not arrested because he shot anyone. He was arrested at a protest. Him along with a woman I will get to in just a second. But this was the story that just kind of grabbed the headlines, where this was the thing I did tell people yesterday, except this man wasn't the shooter. He was arrested during a protest. But if you look at this article, you would assume the Free Palestine protester was the shooter. This is intentional. So the headline was breaking: 2 in custody after active shooter situation in Midtown. Okay. But this guy was not the shooter. Now, let me pause here for a second. I don't know if it was an effort to be the first to come out with the story and they messed things up, or if they did this on purpose. You see the guy with the Palestine shirt on, you see him getting arrested, and that's the image that you put out there. And I ask because there were 2. The article says there were 2 people that got arrested. There were. I will show you that. But when you see him and the woman who was arrested, I want you to ask yourself why they didn't put a picture of the woman on there as well. Why did they lead with this image? So this guy was not the shooter. He is an activist, and from what I understand, a very well-respected activist. He didn't shoot anybody. But that was the message that went out, and you would not believe how many accounts on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, retweeted this story and got the propaganda out there very quickly. I want to show you something else. Some people said, well, I think they changed it. They deleted it. So I just want to show you something, because I did another search just to be sure. And I'm glad I did a video grab of this, right? Check this out. Google Images shows his picture for that headline. But when you click on the image, the article shows a different picture. So either they changed the article or Google fucked up. So let's look at the screen grab that I got yesterday. I wanted to do this before anything changed because I want to prove a point. I Googled that article headline, 2 in custody after ... Here's the first image here. Breaking: 2 in custody. Here is the outlet here, AM New York. Okay. You see another one down here, bottom right-hand corner, 2 in custody after active shooter situation in Midtown. Same thing. But watch this. Now, this is me scrolling through my phone. Let me click on that. Whoa, what happened here? Now, when you click onto it, you select it. Now, all of a sudden, the title was changed. Midtown shooter, 5 people, including gunmen and cops, slain in office building rampage. And the picture has changed. So you can see this here. I think I went back as well just to show you another one. Well. And I clicked on it again. So either one or 2 things happen here, folks. Either they rushed to get that story out. They saw that he was arrested and assumed that he was one of the shooters, or they did this intentionally. That's the propaganda. That is not great journalism. And this is what I was talking about. So shout out to the people who corrected the record. Joa, well-known activist in New York City, is not the shooter, although you will see tons of profiles quickly spreading fake news without investigating whatsoever. And yes, that's exactly what I saw last night. They just ran with that story very quickly Now, again, there were two that were arrested. He was arrested. And then this woman here was also arrested. These were the people that were protesting. Neither one of them was the shooter. But when they wrote that article and said two people have been arrested for the shooting, notice which picture they chose to place on the article. Notice they didn't even put both of their pictures on there. They chose the picture of the man who's Middle Eastern, the guy who had the Palestine shirt on. This is what I was talking about the propaganda from the media. And so many people bought it. So many people retweeted it. People who retweeted it didn't correct the record. Did not correct the record. So you'll even see here, let's get into this video. Olia, she had to come back and correct hers too. NYP officer has been shot in an active shooter incident on Park Avenue near East 52nd Street. At least one confirmed victim is an NYPD officer. But watch this. So this is the video that she has. And then she says two people, a man and a woman, were taken into custody near the scene. There is no information on why arrests occurred. One person shot in the back. Police haven't confirmed if those detained were involved. Then she came back and said, update, the two people taken into custody were in the area after an unrelated protest. So these were two separate events. Two separate events. So let's see what happened right here.
Cover the back, cover the back. Back up, back up, back up. Back it up, back it up, back it up.
Oh, what do you know? There's the woman right there that got arrested. But you didn't see her on in any of these articles. Any of these articles. Watch this.
Let's go, let's go.
Why are they running with this woman?
Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. All right. Back up.
There she is. So also again, she was not the shooter.
This guy, he comes out of here with the he's from Palestine. He keeps saying free Palestine. He got his face covered up in the Palestine stuff. He walking out. The police don't pay him no mind. I said it's him. And then they end up getting him. They got him and they put him to the ground and they got him. They got him. Tried to bomb it up. I don't know. He tried to bomb it up, and so did the lady. The lady that he came in there with, she left with a red bruise on her face, though. She went down in.
She was with him.
You know what was sad about this? You see what had just happened there? Just accuse someone of doing something that they did not do. They tried to bomb it up. You see how quickly these things can, just like that. So do you see, I want to prove a point. See how quickly all it took was for someone to say he had on a Palestine shirt and he was about to blow it up. See how quickly it took just that statement from one person and for the police to say, oh, it's him. Let's just get him. just based because of what someone said and the bias that the NYPD has to protect Israel and that they have against the pro-Palestine protesters. Now, the rest of this video is them just running around looking like, goofballs. But I'm just thinking about how someone could have lost their life because, I don't know, people gave incorrect information. This person said this, I want to show you. Ostensible said they publish it with the deceitful photo so Google and other sites cache it like that, then change it so they can deny everything, knowing full well most people don't even click, let alone actually read. It's a very widespread practice. I first noticed it in 2009 in New Zealand. Like, I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, like, how that guy could have lost his life. Now, it's not just that one outlet. CNN also got this wrong. Again, first on the scene, got this wrong. Now, this is the actual shooter. This is the actual shooter right here on the right, the picture on the right. That's the shooter. Listen to what CNN says.
Who he is?
They do not know who he is. They know he is a male, possibly white. He's wearing sunglasses. He appears to have a mustache. And that picture has been distributed to every police officer in New York City.
Pause. Let's go back. Now look at let's make sure we're all looking at the same picture. Look at the picture that I'm looking at right here. This is the shooter. And listen to what CNN says. This is crazy, man.
Who he is?
They do not know who he is. They know he is a male, possibly white.
That's the problem right there. They do not know who he is. They know he's a male, possibly white. If they don't know, what do you mean possibly? I'll let him finish.
He's wearing sunglasses. He appears to have a mustache. And that picture has been distributed to every police officer in New York City, particularly has been sent to the phones of the search teams inside that building, because whenever they encounter a group of people, the first thing they have to figure out is that individual among these people hiding among victims or pretending to be an office worker? Because one thing you don't want to have happen is to have this kind of cordon where you're trying to evacuate people in groups as you can get them to a safe corridor and have this person slip out with them. So yes, they have the picture and they have distributed to everybody on the scene.
All right. John.
So do you guys see how multiple news outlets got this completely wrong? Can we go to part two of Type VNC? You guys, this is the information that went out. The guy in the Palestine shirt could have lost his damn life, depending on which cop he came across. Like, this is just very bad, right? So this is the actual shooter. His name is Shane Tamira. The shooter is not even Muslim or Middle Easterner. The demonization of Muslims and people from the Middle East needs to end. This is the shooter. This is his concealed firearms permit from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. You know, so I mean, this is just so dangerous. Now we go on here so you can see a little bit more about him. George Galloway called it out as well. This is what they were saying the other night. A man of Middle Eastern appearance. Does he look Middle Eastern to you? This is him when he played football. Does he look Middle Eastern to you? Does this look like a white guy? Guys, this is dangerous. This is dangerous information. Like I said, somebody could have lost their life. So this is him. New York City shooter Shane Tamira was once a high school football star, winning 6 awards and later playing in Canada. The building he targeted today housed the NFL headquarters. We'll get into more details about that. But this was him.
Hey, we're here with standout running back Shane Tamira from the Granada Hills football team. Big 35-31 victory against Kennedy tonight. the battle for Granada Hills. Shane, just talk about you guys getting that win tonight. How'd you guys come through?
We definitely had to stay disciplined. We were down 10-0. We definitely had to stay disciplined. Our coach kept saying, "Don't hold your heads down. Don't hold your heads down." We just had to stay disciplined and come together as a team.
Shane, a couple of touchdowns for you, including a huge one late in the game there in the fourth quarter with under 4 minutes. Hey, we're here with stand up.
So was a football star, right? Was a football star. Did not make it into the pros, but I sometimes it's not good to be first. Sometimes it's not always good to be the first person to get the story out. But the whole, like the guy with the Palestine shirt on, that to me seemed intentional. It really did. Now we're going to get a little bit more information here about what could have possibly happened with his motive. Part of that could have been driven by the NFL. And this is another thing that they're talking about now. I want to go ahead and bring in. It seems like there was a letter that was in his pocket, or a note that was in his pocket. Apparently he had some issues with the NFL in particular about them and the way that they chose to, I guess, address CTE. Let's get some more updated information here, folks.
Up to the entrance, or got as close to it as we could. Police are out front, barricades, as you can imagine, guarding the entrance and sort of the block perimeter around it. But you can actually see the glass cracked, sort of the introductory glass panes, window panes as you walk in, cracked with what appear to be impact points on one of the window panes, but also on the lower portion of a revolving door as well. Remnants of what happened here in what unfolded in just a few minutes as this gunman walked in, started opening fire on the lobby, killing 3 people in the lobby, including a New York police officer, before heading up to the 33rd floor and killing a 4th person. That police officer killed 36-year-old Didarul Islam, an immigrant from Bangladesh, father of 2, expecting a 3rd. But we also just got in a statement that one of the other people killed was an employee for Blackstone. This building holds a number of different companies. Blackstone included the NFL as well. But this statement.
Blackstone. So one of the victims was an executive at Blackstone. There was a police officer that was killed. But from what I've seen so far, it seems like I'm not 100% sure if the executive at Blackstone was a direct target because of the other information that I have. But we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Some people believe that he was trying to send a message there. Also, we'll talk a little bit more about what Blackstone is.
Saying we are heartbroken to share that our colleague Wesley LePatner was among those who lost their lives. So we're continuing to learn more about the victims in this as well. And all of this as police are trying to push forward to some sort of motive to figure out what may have driven this person to do this. We're appearing to get a few clues. A source with knowledge of the investigation says that this person had a suicide note that talked about CTE, the traumatic brain injury that is typically brought on from playing high impact sports like football. And this place, this office, does house the NFL, and we do understand from the NFL an employee was shot here. But that's just one piece of what is going to be a larger investigation, again, to zero in on a specific motive here. This shooter lived in Las Vegas prior to carrying this out, before driving across the country to this block where I'm standing and walking into that building and doing what they did. But bottom line, as security is beefed up at this building over the next weeks and potentially months, families will be mourning those lost in just a matter of minutes.
Let's pause here for a second. So let's mention the CTE thing for just a second here. It could be possible that maybe he had a number of head injuries, a number of concussions, that maybe he started to experience some of those symptoms. This was an argument that was brought forth after Aaron Hernandez died. Aaron Hernandez that played for the Patriots. One of the arguments that was brought forth is it possible that he could have had some of the symptoms of CTE? The unfortunate thing about that at that time, and hopefully that has, hopefully science has improved on this, but unfortunately at that time, the only way that you could really identify if someone had it is by studying their brain. And that's usually after they have already passed away. Because there were a couple of football players, professional ones, that did decide to donate their brain for study after they passed away. So yes, I was just about to say, Junior, yeah, Junior, he was another one that chose to do that, to donate his brain after he died. So it could be possible that maybe he was starting to have those types of issues with mental health because of dramatic head trauma, which is a real thing. So let's go on a little bit more here, and we're going to get to that Blackstone part as well.
Absolutely. Omar, appreciate it. Thank you. John?
All right, well, it's now John Miller, CNN Chief Law Enforcement and Intelligence Analyst. And John, you were doing real-time reporting on this throughout the evening, late into the night. I'm sure you didn't get much sleep, but what's the very latest you're learning now?
Well, we're learning bit by bit what his targeting was and how he ended up where he ended up. So as Omar told us, we see from that picture, he's walking up with an M4 rifle into the lobby, and then he opens fire. But he wants to get to the elevators. And this is one of those moments where he sees an elevator open. He walks into the elevator. A woman has heard the shots and sees the man with the rifle walking in. She walks off the elevator, which undoubtedly saved her life. He doesn't attempt to shoot her, but he takes the elevator to where it's going. It's one of those buildings like this one where you get in the elevator and the elevator is already programmed to your destination. He doesn't know what his destination is. His target, we believe, is the NFL. He has written this note about CTE. He's talked about how it's the NFL's fault. The NFL is on the 5th floor. We don't know this. He may have
Paused. So this is what I wanted to show you guys. The gunman was found dead on the 33rd floor. Okay, so this building has 634 feet with 44 floors. And then you have the ground floor here. So this is why I said the employee that was killed that worked for Blackstone may not have been an intentional target for him. He may not have known exactly which floor or which office was the NFL headquarters. So he may not have actually known exactly where he was going, but it seems like because of the note that he left, that was his motive. That's what we know at this point in time.
I believe that was the NFL building. Very much like so many of the floors are occupied by Blackstone. He may have thought, whatever floor I get out on, it may be the NFL. But the door opened and he walked off into the 33rd floor, which is the headquarters of Rudin Management, the company that runs that building and so many other buildings in Manhattan, and shot apparently the first person he encountered, a woman who was a long-time and cherished employee of the Rudins. So that gives us a little bit of a window into a lot of the questions that were coming up yesterday, which was, what was his target? Why did he end up there? Was that his target, or was that happenstance? And some of those questions we'll never know because we obviously can't talk to him, but it's coming together.
That's the other unfortunate part about all this. Like a lot of times when these events, these shootings take place, the shooter unalives themselves and you don't get the answers that you're looking for unless there was something that was left behind or left there. Maybe there's something on social media, a message that was sent out, right? I don't know what the gun laws are in Nevada. I know other people asking, like, how was he able to get a gun like that? And even though he had a gun permit, I don't know. I don't know the gun laws in Nevada. I know it differs depending on which state you live in. You know, the gun laws in Texas may be a little bit looser than they are here in Massachusetts. So that's something I would have to look into. Like, honestly, I don't know. But what I had kind of been wondering when I heard about this is, what if he already had some of those symptoms of CTE before this event took place? And that's what I've been wondering. For those who are not familiar, the players that have had it, they have gone on to say that it can be excruciating, right? Like they're having periods of depression. They're having like sometimes psychosis. Like it basically makes you crazy. And I wonder if he was already having those symptoms before this happened. Now, in the new New York Times article today, they said that there was a note that was in his pocket. In his pocket, that note said about, let me pull this up real quick. One of the things that the note said, because I just want to make sure I quote this right. Okay, yes. Okay, so one of the things that the article said here, and I thought this part was interesting, was about the note. So it said that, he had mental health crisis at least twice, once in 2022. Again, I wonder if that was due to symptoms of CTE. I don't know. And then also here, it goes on to say they still believe the apparent plan was to target the NFL. It says in his note, he asked that his brain be examined for signs of CTE, a degenerative brain disease. So this is why and from what I understand about CTE, it seems like to me that it doesn't seem to have an age limit for this, because I saw a story not too long ago about a high school football player that he felt he was having those types of symptoms of CTE. I think it can happen at any time. I think it's just a matter of how much trauma you have to the head. And I want to say something here, folks, as well. I think it's important that people really understand that when these players have concussion after concussion after concussion, your brain is shaking around inside your head. Your brain is not meant to do that. And so it's traumatic. And there have been times when I know some of you have seen it too, where I've seen football players, they had a concussion during the game. Next thing you know, they're playing the next game. So there was a game on Sunday and they played and they had a concussion, but then they came back and played Thursday night. That's actually not enough time. You need at least 5 to 7 days. And you're not supposed to be around bright lights. You're not supposed to be staring at like computer screens. Don't watch too much TV. You really want to try to rest your brain as much as possible. So if they had a concussion on Sunday and they coming back to play on Thursday night, they're not fully recovered. Now, this other part here that I think is really interesting is the Blackstone part. So Blackstone exec who was killed by a New York shooter was head of real estate acquisition, doubling rents on all Americans, foreclosing on those who own their homes, and making it so that no one can keep a home. That's the story we're sleeping on. So this is the woman, Wesley. Wesley is a woman that was also killed. This is what Blackstone does. When I gave that talk about private equity, this is one of them. Why Blackstone is buying rental homes in the US. Blackstone's housing empire, a giant in the US rental market. Blackstone raises an $8 billion fund to invest in commercial real estate to buy debt portfolios from banks and insurance companies. See this? So that's Blackstone. That's who Blackstone is. But based on the note that they found in his wallet, it seems like to me his target was the NFL headquarters. I think she may have just been in the wrong place, the wrong time. As of right now, based on the information that we have now. I don't know, man. I don't know. JB just said, oh, this is going to be huge for the NFL to address. The corporate dictators want players to sacrifice their bodies and brains. Yeah. No, man. I worry. I have to say this, we don't advocate for violence on this show. And I feel bad for people, that were killed. And at the same time, I feel like I'm worried that I just keep hearing more and more stories where it's like the football player, the age is younger and younger, where it seems like they may be dealing with these symptoms. Just makes me wonder, that's all. But what I think is important, again, just want to say this one more time, the guy wearing the Palestine shirt and the white woman that were arrested, they were not the shooter. And I really do think CNN needs to issue a retraction and an apology. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.